Hello and welcome to the weekly stew on Chatter.lk with me, Anuruddha Fernando. Our first story is the rise of the middle-aged intern. Now, how many of you have seen the new movie, The Intern, with Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro? That was a rhetorical question. You don't really need to phone in with answers. But now, let's check out this story from the BBC. When Erin Gibson Allen decided to return to the legal profession after a 10-year absence to raise her children, she knew she would have to get creative. She took unpaid work experience in the chambers of a federal judge in the US city of Pittsburgh. Part of me thought, what have I done? Says Miss Allen, 46, who worked for the judge for 9 months. But the other part of me believed very strongly in experience and networking. That's not me, that's Miss Allen. Right. Though Miss Allen says some people were skeptical about her choice, she believed she needed to make an investment in her future. The contacts she made during her internship eventually led to full-time paid opportunities with a Pittsburgh law firm. She now works as a lawyer specializing in competition law.
මම කිව්වාගේ පේන්නේ නැති මේ බොස් ස්ටෝරීස් තියෙනවා අම්බානට දුන්න නැති වැඩක් නෑ මේ නාටි මිනිස්සුන්ගේ පික් ස්ටෝරීස් දාගෙන වැඩ නෑ වගේ අපිට
අපේ රස්සාවවත් ගහලා නෑ එකෙන් මේකේ
මට දුන්න නම් ඇන්කර් ජොබ් එක අංකල් ලස්සන දෙයක්.
Now let's take a break from the news and check in with our war correspondent Winston R. Rumsfeld III, no relation, who's in Syria. Winnie, what's the situation in Syria?
Today I am in Syria, where the whole world eagerly awaits the dawn of democracy. The same democracy that has liberated countries such as Egypt, Libya, Iraq and Afghanistan. All shining examples of unity and peace today.
Me? අනිල් මං කිව්වනේ මේකව ගන්න එපා කියලා. අරකින්ද මන් දන්නේ මොනවද කියවන්නේ?
As you can see and hear, I'm in the middle of a raging battle between the forces of good and evil. And as I stand here, the forces of evil led by the Syrian government and its President Bashar al-Assad, and the most evil country on earth, Russia, who are trying to push back the forces of democracy, but we will not be cowed, and will stand firm regardless of how many bombs they drop on our dear friends and allies. The red shield of democracy shall protect them, and I shall be here every minute by their side until they finally triumph.
ඕකනේ මං කිව්වේ ඕක ගැන බය ගුල්ලෙක් බං කියලා වැඩක් නෑ ඔය නිකන් මං කට විතරයි පඬිත රාල ඔය පේන්නේ නැද්ද දැන් නාන ගූ නානවා right now let's get back to some more news stories. The Bard's business, Shakespeare's economic legacy. William Shakespeare may be widely regarded as the finest playwright in the English language, but when he put his quill down, he was also a savvy businessman, according to the BBC. In Elizabethan London, the original Globe Theatre could accommodate 3,000 people, give or take a few. Commoners or groundlings paid a penny to stand in the open air, while the gentry parted with as many as 6 pennies to sit on cushions in the covered galleries. Notwithstanding the fact that the Globe burned down in 1613, Shakespeare's share in the playhouse made him a tidy fortune. He also part-owned another London theatre and a production company, and back in his hometown of Stratford-upon-Avon in Warwickshire, he invested widely in land and property and reportedly bought and sold grain. By the time Shakespeare died on 23rd April 1616, just over 400 years ago, mind you, he was a very wealthy man. In today's money, he would have comfortably been a millionaire. That's why I always advise, don't smoke. Now let's take a break from these stories once again and check out what the weather will be like for the next few days with our erstwhile weather girl, Siryavati. Siri. Siri!
Oh, the weather. So for the next few days, it could shine, it could be rainy, it could be windy, and who knows. However, where my boyfriend lives in Kirulapana, it always rains, and this is like the 3rd time in a row that he stood me up. And I wonder if the cosmos hates me.
Right. So that's all for the weekly stew. We'll be back next week with more stories, if at all. Good day.